What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video. And today, some more Granblue Fantasy Versus for y'all. So, I've been meaning to do this for a little while. I've talked about it on streams a few times. This is how to fight Fairy in Granblue Fantasy Versus. So, when you look at the top tiers in this game, so you have Catalina and Gran, who are pretty much Shotos. They're pretty simple characters. They're hard to play against, kind of just because of the risk return, but the game plan against them is pretty simple. Then you have Lancelot, who has a bunch of like tricky stuff you have to deal with, and then you have Fairy. So out of all of those characters, Fairy, you require a lot of system knowledge and a lot of character knowledge and some ideas that are kind of counterintuitive in order to fight her effectively. So I'm going to try to share some of these with y'all today. She is definitely, I would say, out of the top tiers, especially because she's been top tier since the game has come out, essentially, really controversial, and kind of people's opinions on her are pretty polarizing too. So I hope this video will help you not only fight her, but also understand kind of how you need to think about the game sometimes in order to fight characters and do stuff. So the first thing is, what are the problems that Fairy presents to you? So the main issue is that you can't get next to her. She has really big buttons. This is her standing medium from far away, right? Far medium. This is crouching medium. And this is stand heavy, right? These are her main pokes. She has a couple of other additional pokes, but we'll talk about them later. These are like the core pokes. So when you start the game, her goal is to get away from you and then do this stuff to you. Now, this thing is an example of one of the things that is really counterintuitive about playing against her. I'm gonna break this down. So I have the frame data viewer here, and the first thing you're going to notice is that these things are all minus when you do them, even on hit. So I'm hitting her right now. Blocking and hit is always your turn. It's always your turn. This is going to be important because you have to set a baseline layer of how to play against these pokes. So the first thing I would suggest to do in training mode would be to go set up a few recordings of her doing normal into whip, normal into dodge, normal nothing, and then normal into 2-2. It could be A, it could be B, doesn't matter, right? And check to see what your character can do against these, because this is the first layer of how to fight Fairy, is what to do after she makes you block these moves. So my general thing is I wait for the her to summon the cat, and I'll explain why. So out of these options, so if she summons the cat, you get a punish, a big punish. Or you can send her full screen, knockdown, whatever. Every character has their own thing. At least you can make her block, at most you hit her, right? Check every character for sure. Then for this, you could just sit there, it's fine, because you're not taking damage, she's not doing damage. This is the tricky one. So this is the one where she is trying to elicit a reaction from you. This is, you can roll and potentially get a punish depending on your range, right? So if she cycles through these four randomly, what I like to do personally is I wait for the GG summon, the cat. If you try to look for everything at the same time, it's kind of hard. So just pick one to target specifically. I think that helps a lot, especially if you're going to use the dodge to try to mess around with your visual reaction. If you can hear too, the GG summon has a different audio cue than everything else. You can just wait for that. You can react a little faster if you do that. So once you get good at this, then a higher level Fairy player, and this is usually where the first really big roadblock is, a higher level Fairy player will just basically do nothing after, because if she does nothing, you can't really punish her, but at the same time, we get to revisit this point where everything she does is minus. So you don't actually have to sit there and do nothing after these things. You can challenge these things after she does them. So for example, a Catalina example is that you could try swinging right after. So let's make a new recording for this. Let's say she does something like that. You could try swinging after, you could try walking up, you could try rolling, you could try spot dodging. You don't have to respect these things necessarily. And the main reason why you don't have to respect them, and this is like another counterintuitive idea, is not only do these not do that much damage, so these do around like 700 damage. For medium pokes do 700 damage, and her far heavy does 1000. She can't combo off them either. She only can combo off the far H, and she has to just do it, right? She can combo off them on counter hit, but from testing personally, the only one you can really react to is the far H, and it's still kind of hard. The far medium and 2 medium, you can't react and confirm. So you could use this to take extra chances and do things like whatever lunging move your character has, if you have one, use roll, use dash spot dodge to try to work your way in slowly. Now, one thing you really don't want to do is jump a lot, because she has a really good DP. She has a really good DP. As far as the DP, this is what you want to keep in mind. One, only the EX version is an actual reversal. That is important. Some people don't know that the EX version is the only one that's invincible. The other two are not. Two, so when she uses this, her anti-air is actually much weaker, because her normal 2C is this. And you can definitely get over this, hit this. It's not actually that good of an anti-air. It's only good at that specific range. She needs the EXDP in order to actually cover the sky with like no commitment kind of thing. Once she does that, if you can get to a spot where you can jump, you can try to actually jump, and it's hard for her to anti-air you. And if you get in, then you have a chance to rush her down again. As far as baiting the DP too much, I mean, that's kind of like part of the game. Some people are like, man, like once I get in, she has a DP. The main struggle with the DP is definitely that it knocks you down full screen. But again, if you can get back up and to around here and jump before she gets her DP back, she cannot stop you. She really can't stop you. Very important. So, again, back to these pokes. So, these pokes also all have hurt boxes on them. So, definitely check with your character if you can do this stuff. Okay, so, and then 2M similarly. So, the general rule is like, for the crouching normal, you use a crouching normal. For the standing normal, you use a standing normal. See, I'm going to get hit with my standing heavy here. But if I use my crouching M, I win every time. And if you get hit, don't get discouraged. That's also really important. Don't get discouraged. It doesn't do that much damage. I do more damage when I hit her than when she hits me. Almost every time. Right, so here I got smoked. But you can't care. This is just 1700. You can't care. It will add up, but she has to hit you a lot. Most characters have 10,000 HP. She has slightly less than normal. So she has to hit you with these pokes a lot for it to matter. So the last part of the game plan I want to talk about is getting her to the corner. So once you get her to the corner, you need to, one, when you hit her, cash out and do as much damage as you can, because she has less than lower life. She has 9,500. And if your character does have some way to like either lunge at them or get like a high return counter hit that's generally safe, you should go for it. You should really go for it. So in Catalina's case, it would be the medium Dwa or the EX version of Dwa. So Ferry can't punish these moves because her far L is slow. Is like, I would say like 8 frames, I think. So it's slow, so she can't punish it. So when her back's to the corner, I'm trying to use this move, or walk up and do like, you know, heavy or crouching M versus the buttons. And if I get a hit, I'm going to do 50 to 60%. If she hits me, she doesn't get anything, generally, unless she takes a really big risk. The main thing that will give her a return here is going to be sweep. So sweep is kind of a really annoying move to deal with. Set a training mode bot just to do that real quick, see if your character can even hit it. Catalina, fortunately, is privileged. She can kinda hit this move. Emphasis on kinda. It's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, but at least I could hit it or trade. A lot of characters have problems against that move. If you have something that hops over or is that's long and low, you could probably hit it. It's really fast and hard to deal with though. If you have a way to deal with it, the match will be a lot easier. Now, I'm going to talk about defense for a little bit. So, the main thing talking about defense, because this whole time I've been saying things like, she doesn't do a lot of damage, she can't cover off these pokes, blah blah blah. So, when she actually knocks you down and sets up GG, that's where all her damage comes from. So, when you do challenge her in neutral and stuff, just keep in mind that your ideal challenges should also not let you get knocked down into GG if possible. Sometimes it happens, but if possible. When she does this, she gets access to damage, as we've all seen. So how do you defend against this? Let's build a bot right now. So the first thing to realize about this is that it's actually kind of a Dragon Ball mix-up. And what I mean is, she actually has to read your defense first, and then choose a mix-up. And that part is really important. So she has a couple of options that hit you right away. There's a couple of things where she has to just wait. So the onus is on you, the defender, to see through the mix-up. And what I mean is, like, let's say she does instant overhead, right? So this, you could just DP. You could just DP it, right? The low too, you could just DP. When she has immediate low or instant overhead, you could defend both with OS guard, so you block low and switch high. That would be both options. We'll set it to random here. I'll block it a couple times. Okay. Now, the next option would be roll, and roll, to defend against roll, you use the guard button. This will like lighten your stack. Generally, they will use roll to try to beat your reversal. And then after that, it's all like layered options like delayed lows and stuff like that. So, from here, you gotta think. If she's gonna do things like block or spot dodge, some fairy players use spot dodge. You can jump, you can mash, you can throw her. Let's actually get to throw. Okay, you should be able to throw her though. Low is more reliable though. Jump. There's a bunch of things you could do against these options. If she blocks, you could throw her. If she blocks, you could mash. I believe this one is. Or if she does delay low, you could also, depending on her timing, you can mash or throw her. So it's on her to pick, do I have to media them with the high-low, or do I wait for the defensive option? And you could cycle. So I tend to pick DP, jump, or guard. So if I have these random options going, and the CPU is nice because it won't care about my habits, it's just going to do stuff. So like this time I'll DP, I was right. This time I'll jump, I was right. This time I'll block, I was right. Oh, I mean, that was... I blocked right. So you can see, like, Fairy has to pick against what you're going to do first, and then also try to put it in a high-low mix-up at the same time. Her setups are generally like this. There are definitely examples of her having safe jumps into stuff. Her scariest thing is definitely the install super, because when she knocks you down, she could safe jump you into high-low, and there's not much you can do about that. But by that point, it's like you got into that situation anyway, so there's not much you could do, right? Like, it's just her turn. But when you do get put into these EXGG situations, and like the whip is probably the most common one, definitely remember that you have options. You don't have to just sit there. Establish that you have defense, and then make her guess. Even though she knocked you down, she has to really guess what you're going to do. Hopefully all these things helped. Leave a question in the comments if you have any. Fairy is not very easy to play. I don't actually like playing against her that much either, but it has to be done, you know, and this makes it way, way, way easier. And when you get those W's against Fairy and they say, oh my god, she needs buffs, you can just laugh at them. So hopefully this helps. I really hope this helps. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.